All right, I'm gonna make a suggestion. You ain't gotta do it, but I suggest that you work with kids. All right, this episode is about working with youth, working with children, working with whatever youth is to you. I'm assuming it's relative. You know, somebody who's 30 could be a kid to you. Somebody who is, 10 could be a kid to you. I don't know. Either way, I'm speaking in terms of like elementary school and high schoolers, and then also, possibly even younger. So as an artist, when you are in your craft, and you're in college or college or above, from my experience, there's a certain way of viewing people that you work with and the industry and everything that is just kind of within your reach. However, when you start to work with kids, you quickly, that whole point of access just out the window, out the window. And you gain a new perspective. And from my experience, working as a paraprofessional in special education rooms for a decade, from working with oh goodness, I think it's been 5 or 6 years as a resident poetry workshopper for a certain school in south side of Minneapolis, and doing poetry workshops with a high school in a suburb of Minneapolis. I can say that working with youth and working with children in the realm of art and also in the realm of just being a paraprofessional has been one of the most rewarding activities of my life. And there is just nothing like it. And if it has served me as much as it has, unbeknownst to me in the beginning, as much as it did, I know that it can serve you. And I know that you can get something out of it. And again, as I said in the beginning, you learn more from them than they learn from you. And I think that this happens because as older people, we can get a little calcified and cynical in the way that we view the world and the way that we view ourselves in the world and the way that we present ourselves. And there is a freedom, a untangling when you are in a classroom with kids and they have no regard for any of your experience or any of the calcified stories that you've applied to yourself. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing to get in touch with that and really, really engage with the newness, engage with the new possibilities of approaching your art when working with kids. And in doing that, it just becomes this world that opens up to you. For me, just like a small example, I had a workshop that I was doing at a middle school, and I was in a classroom with a lot of kids that there's a lot of resistance. There was a lot of noise going on, and it was, everybody's living a life outside of school, so they had, they had their life that they brought to the classroom, and that energy was something that could be seen as, rambunctious or disruptful. However, it was like a 6-day workshop, and I swear there were like the first 4 days were like pulling teeth. And we were supposed to talk about, I come in and I say, hey, we're gonna talk about an event in Minnesota history. You're gonna take it, you're gonna say what happened, you're gonna say how it applies to now, and then if you want, to go further, go extra with it, you can say how you want it to be going forward. So this could be about, any civic engagement that's happened in the past, anything that's happened. And what happened with this particular class was everybody ended up writing about their family. And it was remarkable. I mean, they took the events in Minnesota history and they started there and they quickly just, they got to their outcome, but they started with events in Minnesota history and what their families meant to them and what it meant to be, a family of color in Minnesota, what it meant to be a single parent family, what it meant to certain family members meant to them. And it was just beautiful. And in the beginning, you know, what I would have perceived is that all these kids were very, very resistant to showing vulnerability or self-expression. And in the end, they actually did the most self-expression and vulnerability. And I was so honored to have been a part of that. And I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. And just certain kids that had like struggles going through their pieces, their spoken word pieces, was just, it was something that was an honor to be there, to witness it and to work with them and to have their back and to have the trust in the classroom. It was just, it was so amazing. It was such an amazing experience. And I'll never forget it. I never will. And it's impacted me as an artist to my core. And I can't express enough the value in that and the irrevocable change that it's had on me emotionally and artistically. And so that is why I encourage everybody who's in arts, or even if you're just thinking about it, to work with children in some maybe mode of volunteering or just signing up, just to get yourself involved, just showing up and helping. So that is my encouragement to everybody. Yeah, and once you do it, you know, I know that it will be something that will definitely give back to you as well. So anybody that has stories about that, comments or questions about my history with that, you can put them in the comments below. Other than that, I hope that you got something out of this video. And I'll talk more about working with youth down the line. And I just want to thank you for taking the time and energy to watch this video. And we will most definitely see you in the next one. Later.